Call the meeting to order of Wacomico County Council, January 20th at 10 a.m. Those that would like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Lord's Prayer, please do.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and power, and glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Before we begin, I would like to, if we could, have a moment of silence. We lost Deputy First Class John Brune just last week. He served with the Wacomico County Sheriff's Department. He was a friend of many of them and a leader to many of those in the force, if you were to talk to anyone in the Sheriff's Department. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much.
Mr. Cannon, if you'll allow an interruption, before council approves the minutes, I've been asked to remove from the cycle of approval today the closed minutes of January the 6th. There are corrections needed, and they will come back to you for approval at a later date.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
If that meets your approval.
Thank you very much. I entertain a motion, if I could, to approve the minutes from January 6, 2015.
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. Entertain a motion to approve the open work session minutes from December 16, 2014.
So moved. 2016.
Second?
16.
What did I say?
14.
I'm sorry, December 16th. We have a motion, second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or corrections? Okay. I did have one on the second page. I believe it was referenced as Mr. Hall as a member, as a representative on the Clean Air Coalition. Should be Clean Chesapeake Coalition.
See that? Two places. Yeah.
And I believe in a comment below that, it says Mr. Strasburg said once it is disseminated, it will be accepted. I think just for clarification, it should probably, Mr. Strasburg said, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Strasburg, if council reads the study, it would be considered as accepted. Am I right? That was the, yes, because the question was whether or not the council had access to that information. So it would be Mr. Strasburg said if council reads the study, it would have to be considered as accepted. Important distinction as to whether we'd have to pay for it or not. Any other corrections, comments? All those in favor of the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Minutes approved. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the closed work session on December 16th, Part 2.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as read, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Minutes are approved. And entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the work session on January 6th, 2015.
So the open work session.
Second?
So moved.
Okay. Any corrections? I had one question on the second page. Mr. Hall, at the top, it says Mr. Hall said $350,000 was in the budget for reducing the school board due to no building. I didn't understand that when I read it. Mr. Hall, I don't know.
Would you like to be reworded for clarification?
Yes,
We'll do that.
okay. Should we do that now, or before we approve?
We'll do it as adopted. We'll reword it to improve the clarification. It won't change the motion,
Okay.
if that's satisfactory, if you want the wording
I
figure.
think we ought to know exactly what
Yeah, the intent was that $350,000 was for reducing was reduced for in the general fund.
was, but when you said due to no building, there was no impact. It just,
It has no impact on the building one way or another. It just, the impact fee went into the general fund and did not actually impact the value of the buildings at the schools.
okay. The halfway down, where it says, Mr. Cannon said he feels it will be income tax and property tax revenues. It should probably state, Mr. Cannon said he feels it will be with increases in income tax and property tax revenues, with increases in income tax and property tax revenues. Okay? Any other corrections, suggestions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, January 6, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Minutes are approved as amended. Good morning, Mr. Kramer. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. The first item for your consideration is the presentation of the annual audit report by the county's independent external auditors, firm of Pig, Kroll, and Stern. And with us today, we have Mr. Mike Kleger, Ms. Kathleen Robbins, and Ms. Ashley Stern to make the presentation.
Good morning. How's everyone? Make sure you're speaking into a mic when you talk, for the record.
You're not talking, sorry.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for inviting us here today. Each of you should have received a copy of the bound financial statements prior to today's meeting, and I know for the new council members and some of you folks who are returning to the council, I know that these reports can be a little bit overwhelming with 120-plus pages to present at one time. So if there are any questions or further explanations needed following this meeting, please feel free to give us a call, and we will certainly go through any questions or further explanation that might be needed. We have previously delivered and discussed a draft of the financial statements and the reports with the county executive and the director of administration. And our purpose today is to present the audit results, mention some key highlights, and then again answer any questions that you may have for us today. I'd like to begin with the audit report, which is on pages 1 through 3 of the bound financial statements. For those of you who were here last year, you may recall that we had some new language in the report. Basically, the standard audit report was rewritten and reworded. I'm happy to say there are no changes this year. It's basically the same standard verbiage. I'm also happy to state that on page 2, under the opinion section, this is kind of giving you an overall what our opinion was on the statements. I'm happy to state that our opinion on Wycomico County's financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2014 is unmodified. And
Where are you, Michael?
about the middle of page 2, it says opinions.
Hang on a second.
Okay. Yeah, it's the big bound report. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's kind of the overall report. And what that opinion means is that the financial statements present fairly the financial position of the county as of and for the year ended June 30th, 2014, in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. This is also what's known as a clean opinion or unmodified opinion, and it's the highest level of assurance that we can give as auditors. The next report, on pages 4 and 5, is a report on internal controls and compliance matters that's also required by government auditing standards. Again, I'm happy to report that we did not find any internal control significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. We did have a couple of compliance matters related to some solid waste landfill issues, which we disclose and in detail on page 93 of the financial statements. I presume you guys have seen that at this point. So that's the only matters that we found as it relates to compliance. And with that, those are kind of the two reports. The rest of the information in here, I guess from a general overview standpoint, kind of getting an understanding of the report and that statements is to really read through the management's discussion and analysis, which is prepared by the administration, basically. It kind of gives you an overview without getting into all the numbers and the details. So that's kind of written by you guys, but not you guys, but the administration. And it's kind of a good summary of what the statements mean and show. And then with that, I'll turn it over to Kathleen to cover some of the numbers, and then we'll be glad to answer your questions.
Okay, we're going to focus on the graphs, which I gave you a handout. The first one shows general fund equity, and your undesignated or your unassigned fund balance increased from $28.6 million to $30.1 million, and you had a total general fund balance increase of $2.4 million. Though it is unassigned, it is not necessarily available to spend, since $30.1 million, what you currently have, would only fund approximately 97 days of the general fund's operations. The Government Finance Officers Association recommends 2.5 to 3 months minimum, so you are pretty much at the minimum. So you want to try to keep increasing that. As you can see from the next graph, property tax income, which includes real estate, personal property, and ordinary business corporation taxes, net of credits and allowances, stayed relatively stable until fiscal year 2012. 2012 saw an overall decrease in property tax revenue of approximately $2.1 million due to the charter revenue cap. In fiscal year 2013, the county recovered somewhat and stayed level for fiscal year 2014. There was an increase in real property taxes caused by setting the tax rate to the maximum allowable revenue cap, and an increase in new construction real estate taxes. This increase offset the decrease in personal property and ordinary business taxes that was a combination of a reduction of business taxable assets per the State Department of Assessments and Taxation, and the first year of the county's 5-year phase-out of the business inventory tax. Income taxes increased from 2013 to 2014 by $2.5 million. This increase is attributed to finally seeing the results of the county's tax rate increase from 3.1 to 3.2%, and as of the end of fiscal year 2014, continuing improvement in employment for county residents. For the most part, other general fund revenues increased, most notably due to intergovernmental grants. The disparity grant received by the county increased $4.5 million. Because the state removed the cap on the distribution that had previously been in place, and because Wycomico qualified for the maximum payment since your income tax rate is set to the maximum. Expect decreases in the future on the disparity grant because the state did impose another limitation after releasing the initial cap. The remaining increase in grants is attributable to budgeted increases by the state for Sheriff's Department grants. Though you can't tell by the graph, your service charges and fees actually decreased from the previous year. Most of this decrease was because impact fees in fiscal year 2013 on 2 large multi-unit construction projects were not repeated in fiscal year 2014. The remaining decrease in service fees and charges is comprised of declines in fire safety inspection fees and federal and state per diem payments to the detention center. The total of these decreases was offset somewhat by increases in the Liquor Control Board contribution and detention center local charges to arrive at a net decrease in service charges of about $780,000. Also included in other general fund revenue is miscellaneous revenue, which decreased from fiscal year 2013 to fiscal year 2014, primarily due to health insurance rebate payments which were not repeated and will not be repeated in future years. Overall, you collected $995,000 more than budgeted, mainly attributable to the healthcare rebates and other miscellaneous income that is not budgeted because there are sources of income that cannot be reasonably estimated or relied upon to be repeated year to year. Any questions?
Questions at all?
All right, now we move on to the general fund expenditures. As you'll see, salaries increased in fiscal year 2014 This was due to a cost of living increase of 1.7%, internal promotions within the departments, the filling of previously vacant positions, and the creation of new positions as planned during the fiscal year 2014 budget process. Employee benefits increased $1.9 million because you increased the funding of your pension plan and because health insurance costs increased. In reality, it increased more than the graph shows because in fiscal year 2014, due to a realignment of expenditures, all pension plan, other post-employment benefit, and hospitalization costs associated with the recreation and cultural personnel were moved into that department's operating expenditures. That was $620,000 that was moved. The county's operating expenditures increased from fiscal year 13 to 14 by $3.3 million. Some item of note, capital outlay for the general fund increased $959,000, mainly to outfit the state's attorney's office, replace the circuit court roof, and to fund the fleet replacement plan for the sheriff's and recreations departments. The state's attorney office incurred $130,000 of rent expense along with other expenses related to operating a new building rather than being part of the circuit court. The funding for community promotion, which includes the community access channel and economic development, increased $122,000. General services and corrections operating expenditures increased due to lease payments, starting on the lease for the energy efficiency improvements finished in fiscal year 2013. The funding for the Tri-County Council Short Transit was increased. Warwick received an increase of $666,000 to its recurring operating grant to restore proportionate funding levels with Worcester County and target supported towards the community college's curriculum of nursing, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. As mentioned previously, recreation and culture expenditures increased because they absorbed their share of the pension, OPEB, and hospitalization costs. The grants and mandates expenditures decreased because the State Department of Assessments and Taxation reassumed a portion of the operating expenditures that had pushed to counties in prior years. Debt service had a large decrease due to current and previous bond refundings, and that several bonds now have been paid off. Education, which for the purposes of this graph include only the Board of Education, increased as budgeted due to the required maintenance of effort increase and the required increase to the state teacher pension contribution plan, plus an additional $629,000 above your maintenance of effort requirement. The county actually spent $2.9 million less than budgeted.
So there was 600 some above maintenance of effort last year?
$629,000.
629.
This next graph just kind of shows you where the county spends its money. As in all years, education includes payments to the Board of Education, Warwick Community College, and the library, and it's the largest expenditure, obviously. The next largest is for public safety, which includes the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, and the ambulance companies. And then this year, on the next graph, we just wanted to give you an idea of your bigger enterprise funds, how they're doing. We show you the revenues over the past 5 years, the operating expenses, and in the case of solid waste, the operating loss, except for fiscal year 2011. So since they're supposed to be running as a business, you probably need to keep an eye on this. Same thing with the nursing home and the airport. The airport is next. As you see, 2014, you had an operating loss of $3.5 million. And then the final one is the nursing home. Which had a loss of $125,000. Does anyone have any questions?
It's a lot to absorb in a couple of minutes.
Got it. I've got a question in your small book. know which page it is. Well, it's the management letter. At the bottom about the circuit court not utilizing the, keeping track of their hours and things.
They actually are tracking their hours, they're just not using the system.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, they're doing it
Excuse me.
outside the system.
Why is that if the system's provided? Is there a reason given? They don't have time?
Yeah, time constraints and people.
Does it take a lot more time to do it that way than it does tracking? I mean, are they tracking it in a book? How are they tracking it on another computer?
Excel schedule.
But it does take time to move from the Excel schedules over to the system. I don't think she's had a chance to do it yet.
I see. And how long has this been?
I believe everyone came on board last year.
So they're only a year out?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay. And I guess the other question, Mike, I called you about why we hadn't got the audit, and you
Yeah.
explained to me that there was a hang-up in our finance department. Can you explain that?
Well, no,
It was a couple weeks late, I guess.
Yeah, we were about 2 weeks behind schedule. Initially, the finance department was going to prepare their own statements, and actually, at some point in the process, decided they weren't going to be able to get through that process from a timing standpoint. And since we already had the format and everything else already set up from previous years, we just picked it up and took it over. But that put us behind about 2 weeks, essentially, from where we normally would have been,
Okay.
so. Okay, anything to add to that?
That works.
Any other questions?
Okay. Again, anything else comes up, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Or
Thank you.
email.
Thank you.
Desk. Do need a desk. Need a desk here. Mr. Kramer?
Thank you, Mr. President. The next item for your consideration is a brief presentation on a program Pencil to Plow with Ms. Jessica Flores from the Extension Service.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Would you like me to have a seat? Sure.
Seat's fine, sure. We thought we'd have you in today because, economic development is where we're headed in Wycomico County. And part of that is, creating a job force that can meet those standards. And I know that Pencil to Plow is just one part of that. So we thought we'd have you come in just to give us an overview of what your expectations are.
Certainly. So for those of you that we have not met, my name is Jessica Flores. I am one of the agriculture educators with the University of Maryland Extension Office. And part of my job is to not only support the farmers that are currently operating in our county, state, region, but also to encourage those new to this industry, whether it's on a local level or a state or regional level. A few years ago, 2012, I sat down with a colleague and decided we needed to make a more initiative push towards beginning farmers, those that were very intrigued or interested into where their local food sources were coming from, but just didn't have the experience. They didn't come from a farming background, or they didn't know where to start. They had this great idea, but they weren't sure if it was going to make them money or exactly what was entailed with running an operation, whether it be a small or large size operation. For farming, we don't necessarily look at the size of the operation pertaining to acreage, but we look at it more as an income. We look at it at the amount of income determining what size farm. So you may only have 5 or 10 acres, but may gross $10 million, so we consider you a large farm. We go on an income to determine the size of your operation. But that aside, Farming Pencil to Plow is a beginning farmer program that started in Wycomico County, and it has branched a little bit further than that. We had started it off as a Lower Shore program, which that is my region that I teach in. However, we have pulled individuals as far away as Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, Caroline, and so on down to the Lower Shore. It has been very successful. We are getting ready to hold our third class session beginning next month on February 2nd, and we currently have 11 participants signed up for this year. To date, if you include the individuals that have participated from 2012 and 2014 classes, we have had 27 participants with a very high success rate. Those that have participated have had the chance to really examine their idea. Is their farming idea, one, legitimate? Two, can it make them money? Or is it truly a hobby endeavor that they truly have a passion for? And that's what we sit down over 8 weeks and go through. We take their idea and we break it down and we essentially create a business plan with them. And we examine their idea to see if, one, they can generate an income from it, and two, if they currently cannot, from the idea that they have on the table, what can we adjust and change so that they can be able to do that? It's a very one-on-one approach. Our purpose is to keep the class size small. We generally average about 10 to 14 participants, but they can ask those one-on-one questions. We go over regulation, cash flows, business plans, marketing, and how to work with individuals that you may not be familiar with, that you need to work with in a networking situation. Where can you go to approach for grants? Where can you go to go for a loan? You know, an agriculture loan or operating loan may not be the same location that you go to purchase a mortgage. And we go over that each week. We meet once a week for 8 weeks, 3 hours a night. We figure we're pulling you away from your day job, so we also provide dinner with us. Because part of it not only is to develop a business plan, but also to create that networking of people working with others. Farmers are generally known for being able to produce a wonderful crop, and sometimes the business planning goes on the wayside. But I have always encouraged people who participate in this, if you are going to be a successful agriculture operator, farmer, whatever you want to title them, you have to have business savvy. And that's where we're seeing a lot of our farms that do fail. That's where they're failing. They are not having a good game plan as to where their money is coming in and where it is going out. When we sit down and really examine that with them and essentially have a good budgeting plan for a year, 3 year, 5 year, and so on.
What's the average, is there an average age that you would say of the people who participate?
Our age range goes from 18 up to 75. If I had to say a group setting as far as the age, it would probably be between 45 and 53. It's going to be, we're seeing a lot of people who are wanting to take their what is currently we consider as ag educator a hobby and turn that into a supplemental income, or they have lost their job, they have recently retired, and they want to make this their primary income. But majority we're seeing is more of a supplemental, and then if it is successful after 2 or 3 years, then they plan to take the next step and make it their primary income.
Questions?
Can you give me an example of this 5 to 10 acres and $10 million income?
I would love to. Can't think of one right off the top of my head.
I guess I was wondering where that's being said.
Yeah, I'd like to meet him too.
We'll take 6.
But what we like to explain to those that aren't currently involved with agriculture is a lot of people think when we say big farm, they think large acreage. Because by tradition, that's normally what it was. Your large landowners held quite a bit of money, but that's not so much. We're learning to approach it in a way that we're using the limited resources that we have and using them to our fullest ability. And in this day and age, it's space. No more land is going to be created, so we have to come up with new approaches on how to be really successful with what we have to work with.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what are you seeing in the way of like governmental regulations, that kind of thing?
That's our biggest hardship.
All right. Well, I mean, well, since we're the White Comico Council, is there anything locally that's getting in the way of people, transitioning to, like I said, the supplemental income, things like that? What could we do to make it easier for the people you're dealing with to do that?
I would say probably the first, I don't want to say it's a hurdle, but the first thing that we're seeing a lot of our participants that are growing their business is when they go to build a new building. They're not, because agriculture lands are classified just a little bit different than your regular business operations when you go to build buildings or acquire those permits. Sometimes there's a little bit of a gray area. So explaining that to them that no, you're not going out to build a house, you're going out to build a retail facility, those questions tend to come up quite often.
I think we had an example of that, Mr. Wycall, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, stormwater management issues, agriculture used to be exempt up until three years ago. And then the state changed the rules, and so now agriculture is not exempt, and that has created a hardship, especially for chicken house that are being constructed, my greenhouses, for example. So I know that is one thing that the new governor has looked to address is stormwater issues that are going on in the state. So hopefully we might see some relief on the ag side from that.
And that's one thing that we try to encourage through the networking is we select key speakers that come in and guest speak for us from the Wycomico Soil District, Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit. We have strategic people so that individuals that participate in this program know who to go to talk to avoid certain hurdles or be on the forefront and be working with them along the way so that they don't hit a roadblock, cost them more money, and they fail. The goal is for them to be successful, and we try to give them all of the chess pieces so that they can be successful and build upon that as they're going along.
Do you have any support or interaction with the poultry integrators?
I have not seen any commercial poultry integrators come through, as far as producers come through this particular program. They are aware that we are doing this. I think because this is a smaller scale or beginning farmers, we tend to see more of those niche market operations like beekeeping, growing hops, canning, let's see, a bakery. We had someone come up with a bakery business plan. So we're seeing the non-traditional avenues come through this program.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what is the most successful type or crop of, what's the most successful farm in Wycomico?
In Wycomico?
Yes.
It would be poultry.
It is poultry. I thought that
Yes.
if someone wanted to get in the farming business, are there farms available or do they start from scratch? What's the easiest way for a farmer
We
to
would-
get started?
We would encourage them to find a farm owner or producer and work with them to gain experience before stepping out on their own. Now, there have been people that, they purchase a farm, they have their plan, and they go on, and they are successful, but generally, what we're seeing a lack of in our beginning farmers, which according to USDA is anyone who has not consecutively farmed for 10 years in a row. So according to USDA, I am no longer a beginning farmer because I have been farming more than 10 years. But someone who, had a job in the city and came down and purchased a farm, they would be considered a beginning farmer. And the reason that we emphasize that to people is because there are grant opportunities from a federal level that they can take advantage of because of that. But back to your question, can you repeat the question again?
Well, I asked what was the most successful type of farm, and then I asked about opportunities. Because as a matter of fact, you mentioned loss of jobs, and as we all know, that we're getting ready to lose a lot of jobs. What opportunities are out there? I never even considered an unemployed person wanting to start a farm.
Mm-hmm. As far as what is the most successful farming operation out there right now, it would be poultry for Wycomico County. However, the nursery industry is right behind it, and I'm focusing only on Wycomico County. We're ranked number 4 in the state for poultry production. We're second for nursery. We're 4th for vegetables. I mean, we hold a lot of weight when it comes to the agriculture industry from a statewide perspective. We're a very strong, diverse county in our type of operation. Any particular one that's more successful over another, that's very difficult to compare. We generally look at crop production. If you have a good plan, and you have a good business plan, and you have the experience to think outside of the box, that's where your success is. It's not one, any particular product over another. Are you able to work with people outside of your farm operation and have that personal connection and be able to network and market yourself? In the past, farm owners have been very good at producing something. They haven't always had the best people skills. And that's one thing that we really try to emphasize is you have to work with people. You have to be able to talk to them, outside of your comfort zone. And if they can do that, that's where we see them step out and really be successful.
Councilman Holloway?
Very good,
I mean,
thank you.
Councilman Hall.
Welcome.
Ms. Flores, how do you reach out and find people to participate in your program?
Well, the University of Maryland Extension is established as a support and teaching endeavor for those who are new. We reach out to the community. We provide programs so that you can have a good quality of life, as well as looking at the research and the information that we have from the farming.
How do you reach out to the community?
How do we reach out? We utilize our local newspapers. I've interviewed on PAC 14. A colleague of mine does Delmarva Life, Jenny Rosenkrantz. So she's assisted here and there. Farmers markets. I'm looking at different avenues as far as where I can get the information out. I'll go old school and I'll post flyers at some of our local farm stores, so Farmers and Planters, Tractor Supply. But I also look at the not normally used avenues, so like Lowe's, Home Depot. Where are producers going to be buying their supplies and buying their inventory to help set up their infrastructure? So I look at it that way. I do a lot of one-on-one meetings. I also work with our Wycomico Young Farmers as well. I'm a member, but I also kind of work as a liaison as far as, okay, this is what we're seeing from a university and a national perspective. This is what we're seeing from a county perspective. What can we do to try and bridge those two? And I've had a lot of success working with that group.
And then you're here today.
And then I'm here today.
Yes. Just to wrap, could you tell us what the registration deadlines are and where they would go to register?
Certainly. This year, we have moved on with technology, and we have an online registration, which gives people the option if they want to use a credit card. You can go on to farmingpenciltoplow.eventbrite.com. The program is only $30 for an 8-week course. We meet once a week. The reason we're able to keep that fee very low is because we have acquired some sponsorships through Farm Credit in the past. We've also been able to have support from the Eastern Shore Entrepreneurship Training. Let's see. The program this year starts February 2nd, runs through the end of March, or you can call me at the Extension office, and I can provide that information to those who would like that information.
Vern?
When I was in school, there was a program that was in high school, FFA.
Yes,
Do you interact with that?
I do. I'm a FFA teacher.
Oh,
I wear very many caps. For those of you that aren't aware, Wycomico County does have a FFA chapter in Parkside High School now. Jerry, who works with the horticulture program, has really broadened that program this year and has brought in many resources to have the students not only experience the horticulture part and plant science part of it, but has brought myself in to have the aspect of the animal science and the biology behind it as well. You can grow the plants, you can grow the crops, but if you're looking at a livestock perspective, how do you approach that? So that is there as well.
Mr. President,
Yes.
could I make a suggestion that maybe on our website, we try to put a link to the Pencil to Plow program?
Yes, great idea.
Okay.
Mr. Kramer, we can arrange for that.
All right, thank you very much.
We appreciate you coming in.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Mr. Kramer?
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, for your consideration, we begin our resolutions for the day. Resolution number 07, 2015, at the request of the county executive, authorizing the county executive to execute a memorandum of understanding for reimbursement costs associated with the Tobacco Enforcement Youth Initiative Project. This is for a dollar amount not to exceed $8,000 through fiscal 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 07-2015.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion second. I believe we have. Good morning.
Morning.
You could just let us know who you are and.
I'm Lieutenant Weersberg from the Wycomico County Sheriff's Office.
If you could give us an overview, I appreciate that.
The Sheriff's Office had a long-standing relationship, still do, with the Health Department. Currently, we already do have an MOU in place, a Memorandum of Understanding for tobacco compliance. That MOU that's currently in place is just for compliance checks and education for retailers. This MOU continues that and increases that, but also is asking for the Sheriff's Office to go out to retailers with individuals under the age of 18, see if they can purchase cigarettes. And if they do, continue the education and also with citations. Reason this has come up, as explained to me from the Health Department, in 2012 to 2013, the state did a compliance check, and the rate of failure, for lack of a better term, was 24% throughout the state. In 2014, just from the months of May through September,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
May through September increased to 31.9 throughout the state. So the state's an increase in youth buying tobacco, so their concern is that it's continuing to try to curb that and educate retailers to make sure they are IDing the subjects coming to buy cigarettes.
Any questions?
So that's what this $8,000 is to do compliance checks?
Not just that, sir. It's a combination of compliance checks with someone under the age, also with deputies in uniform, checking to make sure tobacco is not placed on the counter through county ordinance. Also in high areas where we've seen citations written, Center at Salisbury, Parks example, usually after school. So we'll have deputies there in uniform and out of uniform to see if anybody under the age is using tobacco.
What kind of fines does that implicate, for a retailer or not?
Unfortunately, I didn't bring that with me. I thought I brought most of my, no, I don't know the exact, the fine amount, sir.
I don't know if we don't have it.
Is there any training provided to the retailers and employees to help them, with this?
Yes, the health department does their share, and then also when a deputy goes out, he just doesn't walk in and walk out. Deputy should go, see that the tobacco is properly placed, then reminds them of the law, which is they read through the county, from the county code. And then you also congratulate for doing well. To be honest with you, in our discussions with the health department over the past several years, we've actually seen a decrease in our violations. So this was a little bit of a surprise to us, meaning law enforcement on the shore, that there's been the increase, because we've actually seen a little bit of a decrease.
Lieutenant Weisberg, has anybody in Wycomico County ever been fined?
For sale of underage tobacco, yes. The most recent one, I honestly don't know. But we do occasionally have the one or two retailers that forget not to put tobacco right on the counter. It has to be out of reach. What we're seeing a bigger increase in, but there isn't legislation that's caught up to it, is the e-cigarettes. There's no legislation that's caught up to that yet. So. Most of the retailers in the county, though, have seemed to be very willing to work and keep it out of the reach of off the counter.
Any other questions? Yes.
And this is separate from the, I guess it's a task force with the comptroller's office with untaxed cigarettes?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys participate in that?
We do. But this is particularly for education and try to prevent purchase for tobacco for under people the age 18.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 07-2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes. Thank you for coming in.
Next item for council's consideration is Resolution 08-2015 at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Joe Holloway to the Commission on Aging.
Entertained motion to introduce Resolution 08-2015.
Got it.
Second.
Second.
All, discussion? We're going to try to go through these as quickly as we can.
Yes.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution 09, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Ernest F. Davis to the Core Services Agency Mental Health Advisory Committee.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 09, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 10, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Mark Kilmer to the Board of Library Trustees.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 10, 2015.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 11, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Ernest F. Davis to the Wycomico County Local Management Board.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 11, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 12, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Matt Holloway to the Maryland Eastern Shore Research, Conservation, and Development Council.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 12, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, resolution passes.
Resolution number 13, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of John B. Hall to the Salisbury-Wycomico Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 13, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 14, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of John T. Cannon as a designated director of PAC 14 Incorporated.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 14, 2015.
So moved. Second.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Was that a squeaker?
Yeah. I saw someone shake their head. Is that close enough to discussion?
Resolution number 15, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Mark Kilmer to the Wycomico County Planning and Zoning Commission.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 15, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 16, 2015, at the request of the county executive, confirming the appointment of Larry W. Dodd to the Wycomico County Recreation and Parks Commission.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 16, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 17, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the reappointment of Matt Holloway to the Wycomico County School Building Commission.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 17, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 18, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Ernest F. Davis to the Wycomico County Social Services Advisory Board.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 18, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 19, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Joe Holloway to the Salisbury-Wycomico Economic Development Board of Directors.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 19, 2015.
So moved.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 20, 2015, at the request of the county executive, confirming the appointment of John T. Cannon to the Salisbury-Wycomico Economic Revolving Loan Committee.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 20, 2015.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 21, 2015, at the request of the county executive, confirming the appointment of Matt Holloway to the Salisbury-Wycomico Economic Development Revolving Loan Committee.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 21, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 22, 2015, at the confirming the appointment of John B. Hall to the Wycomico County Tourism Board.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 22, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 23, 2015, at the request of the executive, confirming the appointment of Matt Holloway to the Wycomico County Youth and Civic Center Commission.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 23, 2015.
So
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 24, 2015, confirming the reappointment of John B. Hall to the Wycomico County Airport Commission.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 24, 2015.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 25, 2015, appointing John T. Cannon as a voting member of the Tri-County Council for the Lower Shore of Maryland.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 25, 2015.
So moved.
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 26, 2015, introduced by the President, appointing Matt Holloway as a voting member of the Tri-County Council for the Lower Shore of Maryland.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 26, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 27, 2015, introduced by the President, appointing Larry W. Dodd as a voting member of the Tri-County Council of the Lower Shore of Maryland.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 27, 2015.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 28, 2015, introduced by the President, a resolution appointing John B. Hall as a voting member of the Tri-County Council of the Lower Shore of Maryland.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 28, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
Resolution number 29, 2015, introduced by the President, confirming the appointment of John T. Cannon to the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 29, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes. One note for the record that all those were unanimous. Thank you.
Now we change gears a little bit. Resolution number 30, 2015, at the request of the county executive, extending the date for the submission of the capital improvements program from January 20th, 2015 to February 3rd, 2015.
Entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 30, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
By way of further information, Mr. President and gentlemen of the council, subsequent to your approval of this resolution, there will be a resolution forthcoming at your next meeting, rather obvious, to extend the date which you adopt the capital budget, and you'll be asked to set a date for the public hearing at that time. And that will, subsequent to the public hearing, the county council will vote on the capital improvements budget, which will conclude the cycle.
Okay, I know that Mr. Strasburg is here. Any questions from council? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of Resolution 30, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, resolution passes.
And I believe that's all I have for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Mr. Baker?
I have nothing.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll introduce and welcome any public comments. If you would, please go to the podium, state your name and where you reside.
Good morning. My name's John Palmer. I'm from Delmar, Maryland. I know that following this meeting, you're going to be having an elected school board work session, and that we will not have a chance to comment at that time. So I'm just kind of preempting this just a little bit. And I would just like to say, I'd like to ask that the elected school board be modeled after the councilmatic districts. The districts are already in place, and they've been court tested, so I think they will work out just fine for an elected school board. Also, I often hear from appointed and elected officials that they don't really care if the school board is elected or appointed. And I don't feel that this is a very appropriate answer to be coming from these officials. And I just ask that everybody represents a large number of people, and if they would just go out and bring back the opinion of what the people are thinking about on this subject. And if you have a personal opinion, that's great also, but in your opinion, whether you like it or if you don't like it, if you could bring up some specific reasons and not just say, well, I don't like it. You know, if you could just kind of bring up a specific reason and explain why you don't feel it's good for this county. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer.
My name is Dave Goswith Sr. I'm a business owner, DOT Training Services, and also a member of the Republican Central Committee. And I too would like to speak on two things. One, the elected school board. The elected school board, I think this last election, everybody was well aware that people wanted accountability. We do not, the county council, as I understand it, does not have any accountability and any power over the school board of any kind, except for the purse strings, to an extent. I would like to see an elected school board. I tried to get 8 years ago on referendum to have a straight up and down vote as to whether the county wanted it or not. Now I'm endorsing a elected school board patterned after the others that are working, and also the council districts as a format which has stood the test of time. The second thing is the airport commission. I use the airport quite a lot in my travels, my business. And there is not enough interest either in the commission or somewhere along the line for us to have adequate air service here. When I try to go out of town, I have to book 45 days ahead if it's at all possible to even get a ride to Charlotte. And I just learned when the regional jets come in that they're going to even be smaller than the ones we have now. And I've had the opportunity to fly on one to Flagstaff from Phoenix, and I was leaning over like this. So I would like the county to look into the situation of why we can't get better service here, why we can't get more flights in, and why we can't utilize the airport as a revenue to offset our liabilities. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Roxy Connolly. I work at West Salisbury Elementary School, but I live in that community over near North Lake Park, and I just don't want you to forget about West Salisbury Elementary School. I know it's been put on hold, the building of that building, but it is a very old building, and it's hard to warm that building, and when it's hot, it's hard to cool that building, and we have all kind of they're trying to control the critters and things around there. There's all kinds of little problems that pop up there. Don't forget West Salisbury Elementary School, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Ann Brittingham Suthowski. I'm a member of the Wycomico County Republican Central Committee, but I'm also a native, lifelong resident of Wycomico County. I was educated in Wycomico County schools, as were my children and grandchildren, but my professional career of 30-plus years was in the state of Delaware. And the state of Delaware, as most of you probably know, all the districts have elected school boards. The idea of elected school board is not new in Wycomico County. I remember in the 1970s attending a meeting which was called by the American Association of University Women, of which I'm a past president, and also the League of Women Voters. That meeting was almost dead on arrival, even though we had a couple hundred people present at the meeting. One of the school board members pulled back their chair and went to sleep. For the last 8 years, there has been a movement in Wycomico County to get a yes or no vote by the citizens of our county. Even getting this on the ballot was blocked by several members of our legislature. However, we now have new representatives who are representing us in Annapolis. All we want is for the residents of our county to be able to express their opinion for an elected school board. We are the only county on the eastern shore of Maryland that does not have an elected school board. This past Tuesday evening, I attended a school board meeting. There were only 5 school board members present. 3 of them expressed that there should be the will of the people. However, one school board member stated that an elected school board would be playing politics with our children. This is a common remark made by people who are against an elected school board. I have 4 answers to that. First of all, if you don't think we're playing politics with the children in our county, you haven't lived in Wycomico County very long. 2, you haven't done your research. I have a folder about that thick at home. 3, you've not been active in your party. And 4, you're in denial. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dowson.
My name is Bob Lown. I also am on the Wycomico Republican Central Committee. Speaking to the elected school board, the one thing that I would ask the council is, as you debate this, to keep it as simple as possible. That I know the idea of a hybrid situation has been kicked around, and I just think that's opening a can of worms that we don't need. That to keep it with councilmatic districts makes it as simple as possible, easy to understand, and something that the voters can comprehend. And finally, just to reiterate what Ann was saying, we want to make it clear, those of us in favor of an elected board, we're not asking the council to enact an elected board. We're not asking the state to make that mandate. We're just asking that the voters be allowed to decide what we would like in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lown. Any other public comments? I'd like to thank all those that participated and took the time to come here today. Council comments at this time. Councilman Dodd.
Yeah, I got a couple things. We just went through a whole list of boards and commissions that the council members have been appointed to, and just want to point out that the county council members do a lot other than attend these meetings. So we're very busy. We have a lot on our plate, and we're all looking out for the citizens of Wycomico County. Second, the elected school board, it's been thrown around ever since we got on board. I've been reaching out to people, getting a lot of input, even put on web pages, unofficial choices, whether they want an elected school board or not. It seems like there are a lot of people that are pushing for an elected school board. So if anyone has any other ideas, please let us know. But right now, it seems like the majority of the people are pushing for an elected school board.
Thank you, Councilman Dodd. Any other council comments? Councilman Holloway?
Yeah, I want to comment on, we went to Pittsville last Saturday night for their awards ceremony, and had some folks there that had put in a lot of time, got some nice awards, and remember how valuable our volunteer fire departments are. I visited with Steve White and Jim Brown last night at Parsonsburg and had a discussion with them about some issues. So also, we got to take a tour. I want to thank the county executive for inviting us to take a tour of the West Side Elementary School. It was the last 2 Saturdays ago, I guess it was. And it was pretty eye-opening. I'm a little amazed that they want to tear that building down. I do see that it needs remodeling. I do see that it probably needs expanding. But I can't see it being torn down. I don't agree with that.
Thank you, Councilman Holloway. Any other council comments? Under presidential comments, I would like to say that everybody is quite aware that Saffron Industries is closing. They're doing it in a rather 3-phased approach. The final process will be in December of 2016. It's going to be increments of about 6 months at a time as they downsize the company. But we are doing everything we can as a county to make sure that we can make that a smooth transition. A group of us already have met with the management at Saffron. We met with them the day that that it was announced to see what we could do to keep the company here. which they were rather emphatic that the decision had been made on a corporate level and there was not much that the county could do, or even the state. They emphasized that it wasn't politics. It wasn't, a non-business friendly environment. They said it was specifically a corporate decision based on numbers. And so we understand where they are with that. What we will do is that we will make every effort as a county and as a council to try to repurpose the building, as well as try to do what we can to put those people back into the workforce. There was sort of an ad hoc committee that got together within a week after this was announced, so that we would be able to sort of see what the county could do as a whole. I would tell you of some of those people who attended this meeting. There was representation from the city council as well as the county council, as well as the state of Maryland and even the federal government. Salisbury-Wicomico Economic Development was there. Warwick Community College had representation. The Lower Shore Workforce Alliance had representation, as did the Department of Labor and Licensing Regulation, Tri-County Council, and the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. This is how seriously we're taking this, because we understand the gravity of the situation and that we do need to address it immediately, and I think we will have success in moving forward. And I'm sure the council may, even though we don't really get into the idea, I guess, of repurposing buildings and reemployment, wherever we can make our efforts as a part of the council, I assure you we will do the same. In addition to that, I'd like to say that this Thursday, the 22nd of January, the NAACP will be holding their meeting. I was asked to, Mary Shawnee could not be here tonight, President Shawnee, and actually members of the county council have been invited. So if you're looking for a night of entertainment, I would suggest that that's where you could be. It's at the Chipman Cultural Center. It's going to be held at 7 o'clock on January 22nd. That's all I have. That being done, I'd like to entertain a motion, if I could, to adjourn so that we can go into a work session, followed by a closed work session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
John, does staff remember that building?
I think they did, but I don't know for sure, Joe.
They did.
They do.
I wonder if there'd be any problems with them, say a competitor wanted to buy it, whether they would hold it up. It's concerning, being they own the property. In other words, somebody that came in and did the same thing they did